Hello, let us continue from where we left off. In this lecture, we are going to add some very important libraries like Express Session, Express Flash, and Cookie Parser. But what did I just say? Don't worry, everything will be explained in detail. But first, let us finish the design of signup page. So go to your signup.ejs under the views and accounts folder and go click signup.ejs. And I made a mistake here. I forgot to add equal, so press save. And after that, you want to add a button with a type, which is submit, and a bootstrap class, which is button dash success. And then you want to give it a name, which is submit, and you want to close the tag. Alright, so once we save, let's go back to our browser and check it out. I can refresh it, and there you have it. It's nice and clean. But in order for us to make the web page more dynamic, we kind of need to add a new library to validate whether there's an error message or success message. That's where Express Flash library comes along. Express Flash job is to flash error messages or success messages depending on the logic of your route. In our case, it is in signup route. So go back to your browser, go back to your text editor and go to user.js under routes folder. And if you go to router.post, we need to add the express flash in either if or else. Alright? But to use express flash is actually depending on another library, which are cookie parser and express session. So let's require these three libraries first on server.js. So go to your server.js and right below engine, you want to type in var express, I want var session, right, equals to require var cookie parser equals to require cookie parser. And lastly, flash, which is express flash, right? So overview, what is session and cookie. Express.js uses a cookie to store a session ID. Session ID is technically an encryption signature in the user's browser, and then on subsequent requests uses the value of the cookie to retrieve session information stored on the server. This server-side storage can be a memory store by default, or you can actually use any other data stores like Connect-Redis or Connect Mongo. It's either these two, right? And cookie parser actually parses cookies and puts the cookie information on request object in the middleware. It will also decrypt signed cookies provided you know the secret. But don't worry guys, in the next lecture I will actually explain what is cookie and session in more detail. Because to understand login system, one must understand this cookie and session. But for the time being, let's move on to add the express flash. In this lecture, we just need to understand what is flash. So for now, if you go back to user.js under routes, for now, the error doesn't show up on the client. And as you can see, this is technically our error on the server side. While this one is kind of like a success message to be given to a user. So let us install Express Flash Session and Cookie Parser. So go to your terminal. See, there's an error because we haven't installed it. So npm install Express Session Cookie Parser, and lastly Express Flash, and there's save. So once that's safe, we need to teach our Express application to use express.flash, express session, and cookie parser. But before that, we have some problem. If you have this kind of error, meaning you kind of like you wrote it wrong. So for me, I wrote it wrong here, cookie parser. So press enter again. And again, we need to teach our Express application to use these three libraries. So go ahead to your server.js file, and right below this app.use body parser, you type in app.use cookie parser. Second, app.use session, right? And then you gotta send an object like resave true. It kind of like forces the session to be saved back to the session stores. This is what it does, even if the session was never modified during the request. So depending on your store, this may be necessary. You can either add this, but it's better to do this so it forces the session to be safe, right? So next is save on initialize. You want to set it to true. So what save uninitialized does is it forces a session that is uninitialized to be saved to the store, which our case is memory store. A session is uninitialized when it is new but not modified. And then next is you want to add the secret, right? It can be any name that you could ever imagine of. For me, I'm just gonna name it Arash at weird symbols. You want to save it. Now, lastly, you want to use Flash, which is Express Flash. And now we can use something like this, like request.flash. Remember, in the body parser, we can use request.body. So the same goes to request.flash. And the reason why Flash is depending on session and cookie, because you want to save the Flash message in a session so that it could be used in another request route. So right now, let's go back to our user.js under the routes folder. All right, you want to delete. You want to delete these two lines up here, 1 and 2. All right, and you want to add this request.flash. If there's an error, request.flash with an errors, and then we want to send it a message account with that email address already exists, right? And if user successfully, use a new email, you want to save it to database. So after that, you want to redirect the user to appropriate page. In our case, it's supposed to be profile, but we haven't created the page yet, so we're just gonna redirect it to a home route. Okay, so once it's been done, we have to add the last piece of the puzzle. We have to add it to the client side. So before that, let's close all this unnecessary tab for time being. Navbar and footer custom. So and package to JSON. All right, go to signup.ejs and you want to add the error message. And EJS provide you with a special syntax to check if there's an error or not. Guess what? It is exactly like JavaScript. It's like the logic. So how are you going to do it? So you're going to type in open tag and a percentage, and if errors.lang is greater than 0. First, we just type in this first, and then you want to close it, and you want to type in if errors.lang is greater than 0, meaning if there's a message, it's actually counting the message. It's like, for example, if error equals to Arash, and if you type error.lang, is simply counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So error.lang is 5, right? So next is you want to add the bootstrap class, which is alert danger, alert dismissible. You want to close it. All right, next is you want to put a button here so that you can close it after you have received the alert message. So you can close it, data dismiss, The next is aria label, close. Now you want to set a span tag over here, and you want to close the button. Then in span tag, you want to add, like, for example, like aria. You want to add a new class called. Oh no, you don't need to add any class. You're just gonna add aria dash hidden equals true, and then simply type this times. This indicates this one. Later on you will see in action. So after you have done this, right after button, you want to add the error message, which is error. Right? So once we have done, let's see in action. Go to Google Chrome and refresh this page. So currently we haven't started server, so go ahead and start our server first. Non-button server, cannot find module session. So let's go back to our atom and let's go to server.js, and apparently the error is cannot find module session. We forgot to add express in the beginning. Express dash session. Save it and then see the terminal, and it's running good. Connect to database, go back to your browser and refresh this page. So as you can see, it will show this error is not defined. If you go back to user.js and the routes folder, the reason why, because we didn't specify the data that we're going to pass in to the get request. So we'll always need to do that. So we have to pass in the error message. It will be set to request.flash errors. That's it. So what is going on right here is that, for example, if you're posting some data, and let's say if the email is duplicated, then this request.flash will run, and it will redirect back to the user, to the get sign up page, all right, with the error objects. So later on in the signup.ejs, if the errors.length is greater than 0, if the errors is actually there, they simply run this. So let's do it in action. So let's say we go back to sign up, and now there's no error, error because the error object is there, but currently it's 0. So let's say you type in your name 12345, email 12345 at gmail.com, and abc123, and if you press submit, it will redirect you to a home page, meaning it's successful. Okay, let's say we go back to our sign up route, right? We go back to here, and let's say you enter the same data. All right, you think what will happen? Because the email is duplicated, so if we send submit, it will show the error message. Account with that email address already exists. If you go back to atom and user.js on the routes folder, is actually running this if statement, not the other way around, not this one. It doesn't run. Previously it run this one, it will redirect you to the home route, but the second time is that because we duplicated the email, so it's sending us this error. Hey, account with that email address already exists. If you see, it's the same as this one, and then it will redirect you back to this page. And in the next video, we're gonna clean up some of our code, and after that, we are going to actually log in our user to the system. I'm gonna create a profile and stuff. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.